They're trying to find those responsible for some major vandalism at a cemetery.
Police say someone drove through the Sacred Heart Cemetery, knocking over headstones, causing a lot of damage there. News 8's Bob Wilson on the scene in New Britain, where folks who buried their loved ones in that cemetery are heartbroken.
Tonight, many people very upset here in New Britain, not only because of the damage done to these amazing stones, these headstones very, very expensive, but also the time of year. They say Christmas time is a time for getting together and sharing the love and the joy, not smashing and vandalism.
A time of peace and goodwill towards men. It's very sad. I've been crying most of the day every time I think about it because it's hurtful.
Helen Toth went to visit her mother, father, and brother who were buried at the Sacred Heart Cemetery in New Britain. This is what she found. A driver had smashed into the headstones, knocking them over, and in some cases, sending the 4,000-pound blocks of granite 5 feet into the air.
To have somebody come and disturb their final resting place in this manner, it's heartbreaking. I don't know if they think that this was a fun time for them, but you know, somebody is suffering because of the fun time they had the other night.
The church had large trucks out this morning to set the stones back in place. The Monsignor who watches over the cemetery says that with the rain and the weight of the massive stones, they were concerned the granite may sink into the ground. And the headstones are not cheap, in the neighborhood of $15,000 apiece.
There's a loss of respect for one another, and especially at a cemetery, it is so difficult to understand how they could do something like that.
This is not the first time cemeteries in the area have been hit, or even the church for that matter. The Monsignor says the lack of respect runs deep.
We've been reading a lot about this within the last couple of weeks, you know, different cemeteries and different people, the damage. The people were in here in New Britain, they were stealing the gutters, you know, the copper gutters. We went through that. About 5 or 6 churches went through it.
Police say they are working the case, and they do have 1 or 2 leads. They're not saying much about the case now. However, because of the nature of the damage, when all is said and done, they're going to add it up, and this could fall under felony vandalism. I'm Bob Wilson on the scene in New Britain, News 8.